Jacob.
And I'm Drew.
And this week is going to be a great episode. We're going to talk about the game review of Georgia Mississippi State. And then we're going to talk a little bit about, as y'all know, a review of Week 11, right?
Yeah.
Week 11 of all the other games that happened in the league. But thank y'all for tuning back in to Queen City Dog Talk. Make sure to check out our YouTube and Spotify. Like, share, subscribe, and follow. That means the world to us, and thank y'all so much. Let's go ahead and hop into the game review. Final score 45-19, your Georgia Bulldogs. Anything you want to start? You want to kick this thing off?
Sure. Well, as we talked, I think last week, I thought that this was going to be a tough environment for the Dogs to play in against the Bizarro Bulldogs. And I think it was. The first half, there were some times when you kind of felt like the momentum was going Georgia's way, and we were going to just take the crowd right out of it. But unfortunately, in the first half, we didn't do so. Had some turnovers that we've got to stop doing, and kind of got a little bit maybe greedy to end the half, trying to get maybe a little bit more points-wise, and ended up going, I believe it was just 3 and out, punting the ball, and we were, I'm guessing, just maybe lazy on the punt cover team. And they ended up taking it back to the house and pulled it within 3, I think it was, at the end of that. So, actually, you might have even pulled it in to 2. So, pretty disappointing with that. No, I guess it was 5. I think it was 17-12 at the half. But it really
was 10-12 at the half.
It really felt like it was a lot closer than that. So, pretty crazy first half, to say the least. And then, of course, it got better. So
yeah, I can definitely agree with that. And going on this turnovers, in case I didn't know, UGA had 2 turnovers, while Mississippi State had 0.
Yep.
So
not good. I think we've had like a minimum of 2 turnovers over the last 3 games. We had a couple against Florida, a couple against Tennessee, and then a couple last weekend too. So definitely not a trend that we want to continue. That's for sure.
I can definitely agree with that. But let's go ahead and jump right on into the scoring summary and everything.
Okay.
First quarter, we went ahead and scored. We just scored. The touchdown by Brock Bowers, the 2-yard pass, absolutely amazing little run in. And I felt like it's Brock. That's what you expect from him. Absolutely amazing person and an amazing player on and off the field. I love him. He's my favorite player now.
He's a very special, talented athlete, that's for sure. So that was a great start to that. It was a few minutes, about 5 minutes or so into the game, and got that first touchdown. I think that was the second possession. Don't remember right off the top of my head, but I felt okay. That was really the only score in the first quarter, so not too crazy about that.
I can definitely agree with that. But we were the first ones to score and the only ones to score in the first quarter. While the second quarter was a little different. We had 3 field goals from State and then a touchdown to finish out going into halftime. And only 1 touchdown from your Georgia Bulldogs. And that actually by Stetson Bennett. So let's go ahead and watch that play right here. Have it up on the screen over there. Looks like he goes ahead and snaps it. Fake handoff. Amazing juke. Broke his ankles. Runs it right in. Let's see if he'll show it again. All right. This is from the back. Watch the defender. Beats him. And you see how the Georgia defense isolated him and caused the perfect distraction? Because he had a perfect handoff to the other guy. But, he broke his ankles, and he needs to go pick him back up because he left him out on the field. Absolutely amazing. And hats off to you, Bennett. What is this, like his 5th running in touchdown where he looks absolutely outstanding?
Yeah, he's looked really good when running the ball. I think, that's kind of been some of the talk this week, with Bennett and some Heisman hopeful kind of talk. It's unfortunate, I think, for him that he's kind of lower on that list. I think he should be higher.
Agreed.
He's done a lot of great things for the team and is really a great leader. So So that was really good. I think that Georgia, the offense really responds a lot more when Stetson gets some good runs like that. I think it maybe, kind of calms them down and he's able to, just kind of have a little more confidence and sit in the pocket and take care of business. So,
yeah, I can't do that.
So really, like seeing that, and I think it's a good addition. Mississippi State got a couple field goals there, so it was pretty close at the end or going into the half, 17-6. Georgia's looking to move the chains and get some things happening, and we didn't. And punted the ball back to Mississippi State, and as we just talked about, they ran the ball back and picked up the touchdown. So they got 6 points there. Went for the 2-point. Did they go for the 2-point conversion and miss? I think that's what happened to get it within 3. So ended up being 17-12 at the half.
But that touchdown by State was actually a punt return, a 63-yard run punt return. And then the 2-point conversion pass was failed.
Yeah. So that's exactly what happened. So
but
that's
hats
what I'm
off to
saying.
you, State. I feel like that is the first punt return touchdown that we had this season, I think, since last season.
I think it's been quite some time.
So hats off to you, State. Congratulations. I'm not happy with that, but something to work on.
Yep.
That was something to work on.
Yep.
But I have, so we're starting off Queen City Dog Talk Player of the Week and stuff. I think I'm having 2 people so far. We haven't done all game review, but I have 2 people who I already want to nominate. Lad McConkey, who had a great game, which we'll review him in 1 second. Absolutely great game, and he was on his A game. Like, I feel like a couple nights ago he wasn't, but this night he was.
Yeah, well, he had a stellar second half. I mean, that's
Absolutely,
for sure.
yes. And then my other one, my other nominee is Jack Podolunsi.
Oh, Padinsky?
Podolunsi.
Is that how you pronounce him?
I don't know, but here's our little mission to you, subscribers out there. We are going, or I'm going to learn how to pronounce his last name by next episode. I promise. Scout's honor. I promise I will. But he's also my other nomination. I'd be like, why? I mean, he had a good game and stuff. But my thing is, we've been talking about him. He carried our team in the Missouri game, right? Because he actually was SEC Player of the Week that week, in which you never said anything about it. But he keeps on carrying us, and he, just kicks it right in and deserves it. And he's like Blankenship's grandchild here at UGA, and it's great. And I just want to can't talk tonight. I just want to see him keep going as a player and keep maturing as a dog, and he's committing to the G, and I love it. So that's why I nominate him. But we'll go back to that in a little bit. Podlesny.
Lesney, I think. Podlesny.
So it's like pod
Lesney.
less of a knee. Podlesny. Jack Pod Leslie. The kicker boy, his last name starts with a P. Third quarter, just talked about this guy, Lad McConkey. Absolutely a 70-yard run. I don't know why they did not have this play on here, but absolutely great 70-yard run from him. Go ahead and brought the score up to 24-12. Doubled them. It felt good after that. It was amazing. Yeah,
I mean, that run didn't really kind of see that coming in. He kind of, came from the right-hand side and kind of swept over a little bit, got the handoff, had a nice move, and, I think that he's very deceptive in his speed, so you don't think that he's got the speed that he does, and before you know it, that boy's gone. So, great run, great way to start the half. Really, that got us pretty jazzed up right there. Yep. So, when did that one happen? Within the first couple minutes, right?
Yep. First couple minutes. It happened at 14 minutes 13. Yeah. So that's not even... Yeah, that is... Yeah,
first minute.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Very good.
But you'll never believe who scored the next one. My boy, the nominee of Queen City Dog Talk Player of the Week, Lad McConkey, 17-yard pass from Stetson Bennett. And, of course, another nominee, Jack Podolunsi. Podolunsi. Actually, absolutely amazing pass by Bennett, and of course, amazing catch by McConkey.
We'll have to have him as a featured guest, and he'll make you say his last name like 10 times.
Could you imagine that? That'd be cool. But I would fail, and I would feel embarrassed in front of him. But yeah, so we're just gonna pull up that video real quick, and then another touchdown from State after to end off that quarter. So I'm not really happy about that, and I was not happy that they got 19 points up on us, but. Well, all right, here we go. Bennett zip it right to McConkey. Just runs it right in. That was beautiful.
Yep, great pass right there to him, right there at the end zone.
Look in the middle. Tons of space. Finds the
Yeah,
run.
well, he had to get over the linebacker there. So great throw by Bennett to get over him and pop it right on into Ladd's arms, hands, and he just had to step right on into the end zone. So
Oh, I see
great
what
play.
you're saying right here. Makes a little check-in too.
Yep,
He actually cuts right in front of the defender, which is nice. Opens up all that space.
yep, hits him right there between the numbers.
Hits it right in the middle, right in by the field goal post, and it's good.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing job, Ladd McConkey.
Yep.
Great.
So by the time that State got their touchdown, that brought it to 31-19, 18 and 19 with the PAT. So really didn't feel like it was that big of a deal at that time. I remember kind of thinking and feeling a little bit more comfortable. And then, we've got some insurance scores, a couple touchdowns in the fourth quarter to really seal the deal. So great overall game. Darnell Washington, the Big O, got that touchdown in the fourth quarter. I think that I heard them say earlier this week that his first touchdown of the season. We'll have to look into that and double check.
It might be. Well, I'll put it up right here and let you know if it was his first or if it wasn't his first. But it's up right here. Y'all know we don't. But I think it was actually on our Georgia's second drive up here by the first touchdown by Brock. Because I was looking at it, I'm like, really? A 2-yard pass? But I remember Big O had that big separation. We were maybe at like the 45. Remember he had that big play right in the middle of the field? Did another hurdle over and brought it out to the end zone. But it took 2 guys to tackle him at like the 3 maybe. Do you remember that?
Yeah, kind of.
It was a series. Well, it was at the beginning, and I was really hoping because Big O also another one of my favorite players. But I just was like, oh, come on, let's go, because I really wanted him to have it. He hasn't had one all season, which I do remember. But I really wanted to have it, but then he got stopped, and then Brock brought it in. And then once he got this in the fourth quarter, actually just started 14 minutes and 55 left in the quarter. He got it. I was happy. Just to put the cherry on top, Milton ran it in.
Yeah.
But I was so happy to see Big O get that touchdown, his first touchdown as a Bulldog after he
of the season. He had one last year.
True, my bad. Yeah. Of the season. I forgot what I was going to say.
Sorry about that.
Nope, it's fine. I think I was going to say something like because I felt a little devastated that I didn't get one on the second drive.
Time that he got
stopped, but he got one, and I was happy.
Yeah. I'm not sure why we don't use him more often in the red zone. So hopefully we'll do that here going into the end of the season and into the SEC championship game and the playoffs. Hopefully we'll be there for that. But we're definitely big fan of Big O.
Yep.
And I'd like to see him get the ball more, run over some people. He's just a big man and hard to take down. So you saw that again in this game. 2, 3, 4 guys he's just taking hits off of them and keeps rolling. So got to put the ball in his hands more. He is such a mismatch size-wise in the end zone. So I don't know why it hasn't turned out that way here, especially with some of the struggles that we've had down in the red zone, right up against the end zone, within inside the 5. We really struggled. I think we struggled some with this game too. If I remember, I believe they brought in Jalen Carter as a fullback Saturday for a couple plays and had some issues.
2 plays.
Yeah, back to back.
First play, they stopped us. Second play, I forgot who it was. It might have been could have been Milton. I don't remember who it was.
I don't know.
But they just ran it in right over to the left. They broke, or the front line got distracted over here, and Georgia just ran it right in, which was good. But I will agree with that. I am also a little disappointed.
Yeah. Well, whatever. I don't know what happened. Maybe that was the previous game. But anyways, above all, it was a good win. Traveling to Mississippi State and deal with all those cowbells. Not an easy place. Loved some of what Kirby had to say after the game. I've seen the clip a couple times this week where they're interviewing him and they tell him, hey, you've LSU won the West. You guys solidified and won the East. So LSU is going to be your matchup. What do you think of that game? And he just says, don't even start with that. We got to focus. It's so hard to play on the road. We got to go to Kentucky. We got to focus on our next game, and that's what we're looking at. We're not looking at down the road and worrying about playing LSU, which I totally believe that that's the focus of the team. I believe that's where the coaches are for the most part. But I think that Georgia has a big advantage right now that they have so many other coaches, analysts that are going through and already going through all of LSU's games. I'm sure they even did it before this weekend.
Yeah.
And have got everything mapped out, and they're putting a game plan together. I'm sure of that. And I'm sure that they'll, slip some plays in over this week's practice and next week to prepare for that too. They won't be totally focused on it as a team, but I'm sure they'll do some things for that.
I feel like LSU, they should be scared, and to be honest, I think they are scared because at the beginning of the season, LSU did not look good at all, and then Brian Kelly came in, right?
Yeah, Kelly started the season with him as a head coach, getting a new staff in.
Turn it on.
FSU beat them, and then they looked. Tennessee just raked them. I mean, they just raked them on the coals and really beat them up pretty good. So, and then LSU, really started coming along. Their quarterback has really come along and done really well. And the team, I think, is believing in the coach and what they're trying to do. And, I mean, it's LSU, so they're always going to have great players there. They've got great lines. They're going to be a tough challenge, that's for sure. No doubt about it.
Can agree with that. Can
I read this quote? I saved this quote from Kirby. It was from after the Mississippi State game. And this is what they're talking about. He said, "We didn't really talk about it in the locker room. That wasn't our goal. Our attention is coming over here. We came over here to beat Mississippi State, and we're going to go and try and beat Kentucky next week. Those are things that come from it, and we acknowledge that. It's one step at a time. You can't get ahead of yourself in this league. You look across this league and playing on the road, it's difficult and hard. This is a tough place to play, and really it's a tough offense to play. For the third week, we've had no overlap in our calls. We've had Florida, Tennessee, and Mississippi State. I don't want to minimize what our team is doing right now in terms of commitment to practice and toughness and doing things the right way. I'm really proud of them. I think people take it for granted sometimes. It's hard to do what they've been doing." So I don't know if that made sense to you, but what he's saying, for 3 weeks in a row, their defense hasn't been. They've had to learn new things. They've had to focus on new things and have new calls. So the defense is totally zoned in. They're working. They're not overlapping in their calls. They're not playing or preparing for a similar kind of team. They're doing things different, and so I think that speaks volume for not only the team, the players, and what they're doing, but for the coaches, the staff, the analysts, everybody around it. And I'm just, as a Georgia fan, just totally thrilled and excited that we've got Coach Smart as our coach, who acknowledges this, is willing to say it, and give the props. Really, I mean, lift up the people that are doing all this hard work, and lift his players up. So I think it's really cool.
Yeah, I can agree with that. And he's also in the running for SEC
Coach of the
Year. And to be honest, I feel like the SEC is going to play a big part in who gets that. But I feel like,
well, I mean, it's for just the SEC Coach of the Year, and then they have one that's national.
I mean, SEC Championship.
Oh, SEC Championship.
Sorry, because I know Brian Kelly, and because of what he done with LSU, and then Georgia and Kirby Smart being powerhouse.
Yeah.
I feel like the SEC champion is going to decide that, but I feel like Coach. Obviously, I'm a Georgia fan, but I feel like he deserves it. He works hard, and watching SEC Inside, holy cow. I don't know how he still has his voice before games, because he's always yelling at practicing and always communicating with his players really well. It's awesome.
Yeah. Well, to do what he's done and this team and where they're at after losing 15 guys to the NFL last year, people just didn't think Georgia could do what they've done. And we still got 2 more games to go. Kentucky's going to be tough at Kentucky, even though they just lost to Vanderbilt. I'm sure they'll be fired up and ready for Georgia. That's no doubt about it. But anyways, Kirby's done a great job this year already. He's got great staff around him, and it's a good time to be a Dawg. I tell you that.
Sounds good with me. But I just wanted to take a look at Bennett real quick. He had 289 yards. passing yards.
That's
289
good.
passing
That's not
yards.
bad.
And the mailman definitely delivered with that, I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
Not his like most passing yards that he's ever had, but pretty high. I know they're great to see. What was it 3 touchdowns? But yet the 2 turnovers was caused by 2 interceptions by the mailman. Once again, something to work on. And I feel like if this happens at the SEC, which it cannot, it's like the word we had Tennessee, they're going to eat that right up. But I feel like actually LSU will take that and it will help us. You know, I feel like we can't have as much mistakes. It's like the old monarchy of Alabama. You know, we would make those silly mistakes and we pay for it and then lose the national championship. I feel like, to be honest, the LSU is becoming, like, I know how to say it, but to be honest, I'm a little afraid of them.
Are you?
Mm-hmm.
No need to be afraid.
It was kind of like Tennessee and stuff, but because they just popped up, they actually look pretty strong. If you look at some of their plays, I've seen it on TikTok and Instagram.
LSU? Oh, yeah.
They look pretty strong, and they look like they know what they're doing because of Brian Kelly. And we haven't had the best season as like we did last year, but still.
Well, we can get into that, you know, after we play the Bugs.
Yeah.
We'll dive into that and have maybe a little SEC championship, you know, preview or something. But if you're all right with it, let's go ahead and move on. No need to worry about LSU just yet. We got to worry about Kentucky.
Got to believe up there. Have a little Ted Lasso belief sign up there, which I know about. But before we do that, this is our little halftime, fourth quarter, little break. What's it? I think next week's Kentucky, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then after that is Georgia Tech game, right?
Yep.
So we'll be down at Georgia for Georgia Tech, and we'll be tailgating and doing a live Queen City Dog Talk at a tailgate, right?
That's the game plan.
So we'll the Kentucky game review will probably not be posted during the week. It's probably going to be posted maybe on Sunday because we're going to be wanting to film and have to edit and all that. But I'll definitely post a little story on YouTube to let y'all know what's going to happen and when stuff's going to come out. But we'll definitely have a live show, which will be cool, and I'm excited for y'all to see that, and I'm very excited.
Awesome. You want to do a quick review, highlight some of the games that happened this past week? So, of course, LSU was playing at Arkansas, and LSU came out with a 13-10 victory there. So it was a little bit closer than I'm sure all LSU fans and family wanted it to be. But, you know, they came out with the win, but still were relying on Alabama to beat Ole Miss to go ahead and solidify their role or their place in the SEC championship game. So, as we all know, Alabama ended up beating Ole Miss 30-24. So that one wasn't too bad. Mississippi State, I felt like was there. Watched most of that game, and thought that was fairly close. But Alabama pulled it out. Bryce Young had some Bryce Young plays. I mean, great athlete and does a great job when his back's kind of against the wall. They're coming after him, and somehow he escapes the tackle or the rush and ends up either running for the first down or throwing a remarkable play, or who knows what happens. So those were the two of the big games in the West. You want to hit any games on your end?
I want to talk about the top 3 from week 11 and I guess probably week 12. 1, 2, and 3 both put out with a win. Obviously, Georgia beat Mississippi State. Ohio beat Indiana 56-14. And then Michigan beat Nebraska 34-3. So everyone's still pulling away and everyone's still winning. And the top 3, actually top 4 is still undefeated.
Let's talk about number 4 there, TCU and Texas. That was a 17-10 game. Was really pulling for Texas, for those Longhorns, but they didn't pull it out. We're really struggling, and it was a very close game and a half. And TCU never really looked like they totally pulled it away. I felt like Texas probably let it go more than TCU pulled away. But anyways, they're still undefeated. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. Well, it looks like a pretty eventful second half than it was first half. Because it looks like TCU scored all their touchdowns in the second half, and then Texas scored their only touchdown in the second half. So
let's talk about that number 6 team at that particular time. We'll just go right on over to Tennessee. They just blew out Missouri. It was a little bit closer there at the half, but then they just blew them out in the second half. But Oregon having Washington come to town. They talked about that being a big game, and
It's great to see.
it sure was. 34-37, Washington pulls off the upset.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, though. We played on and it made us look really good starting off the season. As much as I hate to see Oregon lose because it makes us look better, but at the same time, it's good to see Oregon lose because they were top 6. And who knows, in playoffs, it could have been a problem. But
Yep.
we'll see.
And we already highlighted the LSU and Alabama games.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you want to mention any other ones right there.
Just look like the ACC, right? Their only hope, Clemson won this week, but nothing from the ACC, I feel like, this week.
Yeah, well, you've got UNC ended up beating Wake Forest. That was close, 36-34. So I believe
big game around here.
North Carolina, they solidified their spot in the ACC championship, and then Clemson will represent the other side. And I don't remember Atlantic, Coastal. I'm guessing UNC's probably Coastal and Clemson's Atlantic. I don't know.
Let's look at this game right here.
They're not really enough to pay that much attention to.
Yeah.
So what? The Notre Dame Navy game?
Notre Dame Navy. We actually had a family member there cheering on for Notre Dame. He's also a Dawg fan, but was a Notre Dame fan.
He was there with his dad,
longer,
pulling for the Fighting Irish. Made it a lot closer than I'm sure they wished it would be.
Yep.
But they ended up pulling off the win, 35-32. So
yeah, great to see them win. But it looks like Notre Dame came out. Looks like they just came out with fire. They scored 35 all their points in the first half, but absolutely nothing in the second half. So
yeah,
wonder what happened there. But opposite with Navy, I feel like they actually turned it on in the second half.
Yeah. It looks that way. Looking at the box score,
was it 19? Yeah, but who knows? And then of course Vanderbilt, Kentucky. Vanderbilt came out with the win, 24-21, and
unbelievable. Vanderbilt's first SEC win in like 26 tries or something ridiculous like that. So, I'm sure Kentucky will be fairly ticked off and focused on Georgia when we come to town on Saturday. But
hopefully make them more ticked off.
Hopefully we'll be just as focused and lay the lumber. Yeah. Take it to them.
Sounds good with me. Well, anything else you want to add real quick before we shut this thing down?
No, I don't think so.
No. I feel like a really quick episode.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Well, I just want to say to keep a check on our YouTube page and keep an eye out for a story that I'll post about when we're going to be posting the review of the Kentucky game and about where maybe, I'll give you more details and you'll see the details I'm talking about in the story. But, you good to wrap it up?
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for tuning back into Queen City Dawg Talk. If you're on YouTube, go check out our Spotify. And if you're on Spotify, go check out our YouTube. You can find us anywhere at Queen City Dawg Talk. And
please like and follow and all that fun stuff.
Yes,
share our podcast with your friends and family.
Before we're about to close it out, we got to do the Queen City Dawg Talk Player of the Week.
Oh, I thought you mentioned that.
Yeah, well, I have to finish. I had 2 people nominated. I'm going to go with, Lad McConkey, 2 touchdowns, didn't drop the ball or fumble it, which was great, and put it up, and he showed that he wants that starting position and that he's ready to go to the SEC Championship and National Championship. I just predicted.
Sounds good. I'll go with that. I'll go with McConkey.
Yep. Sounds good.
Really turned it on that second half and looked really well. So
really
glad to see him back. Hopefully he's gotten rid of the yips or whatever it is that he had, and he's good to go. So this is a good time to start getting hot. Good time to start making plays. So let's do it. Keep it rolling.
Yeah. Well, thank you for tuning in to Queen City Dawg Talk. I hope you have a great week, and we'll see you soon. Go Dogs!
Sick 'em!
Hoo, 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 hoo!